Everybody, and welcome back to Slowpoke Racing and to the Ultimate Racing League, sponsored by Eldridge Air Conditioning. And yeah, we do want to say thank you to Eldridge Air Conditioning for supporting us and helping us get these races together. So yeah, very much appreciated, guys. Now then, on to race 3. Now, I've just had a message passed to me. If you watched races 1 and 2, I said that race 3 was going to be a half-an-hour race. Well, I've just had a message say it's not. It was another 15 minutes, so they only did 3 15-minute races on Saturday. Maybe because the track was so short, I do not know. But there we are. So this one is a 15-minute race as well. So let's have a look down the grid then, and we'll get this one underway. Now, I believe the grid standing is as they finished race 2. So race 2 was as they finished in race... No, it wasn't. Race 2 was... Never mind. So positions are as they finished in race 2, I believe. So Silly Shot... excuse me, is on pole position. Phaser is in second. Then we've got Hoggy in third. The Saint in fourth. Sid in fifth. Pete sixth. Stealth seventh. Carlsberg is 8th. Rufus 9th. And Grahamid 10th. And unfortunately, Mr. Hoyland has not made it back onto the grid after the retirement in race 2. So we're not sure what happened there. But we are now down to 10 racers. So let's just get this one underway, shall we? And... let's see what kind of chaos unfolds in this race. And there's the klaxon, and away we go as Silly Shot takes us across the start-finish line for the first time and into turn 1 ahead of Phaser and Hoggy. Oh, the Saint getting a little bit of a love tap there from Sid the Sloth, but no harm done. They are both still going in the same direction. Sid the Sloth, however, is coming under attack from Pete as we come around turn 2. Immediately into the right hander of turn 3, and is still Sid and Pete side by side, but Pete has managed to get himself in front, although the coming together there has allowed, I think it was Stealth to go through. Yeah, he did. So Stealth took full advantage of Pete and Rufus having that little bit of a touchy-feely moment, and Stealth said thank you very much and slips on by and up into 5th, and now I can get on after the Saint. Pete having a bit of a scrape with the wall very early on in lap 2. Not costing too much, but Grahamid now on the hunt. Now that Grahamid had a very, very unlucky race 2. There was an incident that took place in front of him. He managed to hit Mr. Hoyland after somebody else had already hit him. Grahamid took full responsibility for it and pulled over, ruined his own race and finished all the way at the back. And in my opinion, didn't need to. It wasn't his fault. So Grahamid will have the bit between his teeth now, and he'll want to prove something in this race. So he's going to try and stay out of trouble and push his way through the grid. So we'll keep an eye on Grahamid. I think he's going to be one determined guy out there in this race. Rufus in 8th then, with Sid down in 10th. Excuse me. And alongside Carlsberg as we get into turn 1. Sid having to go the long way round. High, wide angle there, but I thought he was going to scrape the barrier, but he didn't. He got away with it, and I think he's in the car's livery there. What's his name? Lightning McQueen. There we go. Where's he gone? Oh, there he is. Sid, he's just having a scrape with the barrel. Sorry, he just disappeared there. The cameraman, not that brilliant, is it? Silly Shot. Sorry, Sid. Silly Shot then leading the way and opening up a bit of a gap as Hoggy makes the move on Phaser and gets on through. So Hoggy didn't want to let Silly Shot get too far away, did he? That's why I think that was a bit of a desperate move to get in front of Phaser so that Hoggy can chase on after Silly Shot. But I think the gap is there and it will only get bigger. Phaser trying to stay with Hoggy. Jump on board with Phaser, shall we, as we go into turn 1. Now just keep your eye on that little bar to the left of the speedo. That is your brake pedal, and I'm just interested to see if anybody actually uses it as we go around turn 4. We're just following Phaser at the minute. He's in P3 chasing Hoggy down. We've not bothered with the brake pedal at all so far in this lap as we come up towards turn 1. There we go, a bit of a dab on the old brakes just to make this turn, get the car to turn in. So yeah, they only need it on one corner really. So Phaser's sitting in 3rd, chasing Hoggy and Silly Shot. Then we've got the Saint in 4th. What a great round the Saint has had. He must be pleased with this. He got a 5th, a 4th, and he's in 4th at the minute, and a bit of a gap there as the guys behind all battling away. Grahamid, I said to him, I did say, didn't I, early doors, that Grahamid's going to have the bit between his teeth, and he's already up to 5th as Stealth went very deep into turn 3, I think it was, and into turn 4. So Grahamid in 5th, and he's going to be looking to try and pull away and catch on after the Saint. The Stealth in 6th, he's got Rufus on his inside now. And Rufus gets the job done. The Stealth is fighting back, though. Stealth has been right in the thick of nearly all of the battles in this race, so he's going to feel very beaten up after this week. So that's Stealth in 7th, with Rufus moving just ahead in 6th. Then we've got Pete in 8th, with Colesberg in 9th, just behind, and then Sid, who must have had a bit of an issue again with it, but he does like to scrape them barriers, doesn't he, old Sid? He's now down in 10th, and if you keep on scraping the barriers, Sid, you're only going to slow yourself down. So up at the pointy end then, and Silly Shot not messing about, he's looking for his 3rd win, he's looking for the hat-trick. And well, at the minute he looks like he's got it in the bag. He has streaked ahead. We've not quite hit the 5-minute mark yet, and he's already opened up a decent gap. Hoggy in 2nd. He's pulling away from Phaser. So really, these all 3 races have been dominated by these 3. Silly Shot out in front, Hoggy in 2nd, and Phaser 3rd. They do seem to have the knack of just pulling away from the rest of the group, keeping themselves out of trouble, and that I think has been the big key to this race, is stay out of trouble. And then we go to this the next pack there, being headed by the Saint as Stealth slams into the barrier. Wow, there's going to be some sore necks and headaches in the morning after this race. But the Saint in 4th, Rufus has got a lot closer to him now. Rufus right up the jump of the Saint. He's going to be sniffing around the boot in a minute, isn't he? Quick look behind us, there is a gap of quite a few car lengths between Rufus and Pete as Rufus starts to look at making a move on the Saint as they come towards turn 1. Rufus pulls to the inside, which means the Saint is going to have to stay high and wide, and Rufus gets the job done. Good racing there from the Saint. I think he just eased off a little bit. He didn't want to hit the wall and allowed Rufus through. So Rufus now moves up into P4 as they go through turn 3. The Saint is still there, but you can just see behind him we've got Pete and Colesberg and Stealth all chasing him. So we're going to come out of the car with Rufus currently in 4th. The Saint is in the slipstream, as is the rest of the guys just behind him, so he's got to try and keep it clean. Rufus just scraping the wall, a few sparks flying there. Going to slow him down a little bit, but not that much I don't think. The Saint coming under attack from Pete and Colesberg. They're both looking at making a move on him. So the Saint has just, he's going to have his eyes on the mirror, isn't he? Pete getting right underneath that rear wing of the Saint's Mustang as they come around the final turn and head towards the start-finish line. For the 14th time already, we are just, well, we're not even halfway, are we? We're just about 6.5 minutes into this 15-minute race. As Colesberg now dives to the inside and gets a little bit touchy-feely with Pete, but they are still facing the right direction as Stealth goes very deep and Colesberg follows him as well through turn 3. Now then, looks like Stealth is back on track, but that could have been disastrous, couldn't it? He went off very, very deep into turn 3, which puts you off coming into turn 4. Sid all the way down in 10th and playing catch-up. But this is where the battle's happening, isn't it? Mid-pack, Grahamid has dropped to 7th. He got himself up to 5th at one point, and I think he's really going to try and get some decent points out of this race. We do have about another 7.5 minutes to go, so we have hit the halfway point. So Grahamid in 7th needs to try and clear the guys ahead of him. He's got Colesberg just behind. In fact, we'll go on board with Grahamid, shall we? Let's sit in the passenger seat as we try and follow Pete through the centre. Oh no! Every time we get on board with Grahamid, he will be absolutely cursing. Every time we get on board, he ends up off the track. Now then, he's got a bit touchy-feely there with Pete, very deep into turn 3, back on track. A quick look behind us, we've got Colesberg coming in quick. No real danger at the minute, so I'm not quite sure what's happening with Grahamid. He's got Colesberg now chasing him as they come towards turn 1. Now then, was he helped into the barrier? Well, you know what, I'm not so sure there was a touch there. I think he may have just lost the back end himself. I don't think he was touched. not for me to work that one out. That's the steward's job. And poor old Mohammed down in 10th. We saw Silly Shot coming out of turn 1, slamming into the barrier, which is not like Silly Shot to do, but he did. It's not altered his track position. Mohammed moves out of his way and allows Silly Shot through. Same with Hoggy, he just stays out of Hoggy's way as well. Fazer will be the next one to come by Mohammed, as Mohammed stays on that inside. Now then, is he a bit concussed or something, do you think, or is he just trying to get back up to speed before rejoining? And that's exactly what he's done. So Silly Shot still leading this race. Hoggy in second with Fazer in third. In fourth, a long way off, is Rufus. So I think the podium is pretty much set now with Silly Shot, Hoggy and Fazer. Rufus sitting in fourth. Good points to be had though for him. Then we've got Pete in fifth, Carlsberg in sixth. The Saint seems to have been mugged a little bit. He was doing quite well, wasn't he, at one point in fourth? He's now down in seventh, but he's still chasing Carlsberg. So maybe a bit of a good old battle ahead of these two. Stealth in eighth, all on his lonesome now, after a few incidents he's had. Sid in ninth with Mohammed at the back in 10th. So let's just have a look. This is where the battle is. It is Carlsberg. We're on board with Carlsberg quick up behind us, and we've got the Saints chasing us down. So through turn 3 into turn 4, Pete just ahead. So Carlsberg will be fixed firmly on the boot of Pete's car. He's probably not even going to bother looking behind him. He is just concentrating on catching up to the back of the Pete, and I think that's what he's doing actually. He is getting closer to Pete. Now, if he just pushes that just that little bit harder and gets himself into the slipstream, he may well be able to challenge Pete for P5. Now remember, the tyre wear and fuel usage is switched off, so it is just down to racing, so the guys don't have to concentrate on pit stops or anything like that. They can just concentrate on trying to get around this track as quickly as they possibly can. Silly Shot doing exactly that with a fastest lap as Pete scrapes the wall, and you can see the sparks coming off there. But yeah, Silly Shot with the fastest lap at the minute at 28.6. Just looking at Carlsberg's fastest lap is a 29.2, so what's that, 8/10 off the fast lap, which is not that far away actually. So Carlsberg definitely has the pace. It is just whether we can get close enough to Pete, get into that slipstream to make a move on him. Let's just have a look up at the pointy end, shall we, as Silly Shot out in front by quite some margin now, and approaching the back of Stealth. So Silly Shot looking at lapping Stealth. If Stealth moves out of his way, Stealth's been around a while, he knows the score, and he knows that as Silly Shot approaches, then Stealth will move out of his way. He's not going to cause him any issues, is he? Let's have a look at the distance. So Hoggy in second has managed to just get by Sid, although Sid is using Hoggy's slipstream to give him a bit of a tow to help him catch up, and why not? Fazer in third, really is on his lonesome, but looking very, very comfortable for that podium position. Another slam into the barrier. The guys really are using these barriers to good effect. Rufus in fourth, then we've got Pete in fifth with Carlsberg still in sixth. That's about it battle wise. I don't think anybody else is really fighting. I thought there was a battle going on here, but it's not. It's Sid, Silly Shot, sorry, approaching Stealth. So Stealth will move out of the way and let Silly Shot through. He's not going to fight it, is he? Although Stealth is doing his own race, doesn't want to slow down too much because that will allow Sid to catch up. But there you go. As we exit turn 3, Stealth moves to the inside. Now then, Silly Shot going to go around the outside. Yeah, you've got to do it, Silly Shot. You're the one that's got to make the move. Stealth has moved over for you. You've got to keep going though. And there we go, job done. So Silly Shot moves past Stealth then. Hoggy is going to be the next one up. Still sitting in second is Hoggy. We have about 2.5 minutes of this final race to go. Fazer in third. So podium, as I said earlier, pretty much secured. Let's have a look, see if we can find a battle. I don't think we can. Everybody's so spread out. Saint now down in 7th. Then we've got Stealth in 8th. He's going to be overtaken by Hoggy very shortly. I'm sure as they come out of turn 3, Stealth will pick one side or the other as Hoggy goes very deep into turn 3. Entry into turn 4, I think he's just desperate to get past Stealth. Stealth just doing his own race at the minute, so yeah, as I've said, it is up to Hoggy to try and find the way through. Stealth is going to give him the opportunity, but he's not going to stop. And I thought Hoggy might have got the job done by now, but no, he's not. No great rush though at the minute because Fraser is still quite a way off. Blue flag's being waved still for Stealth. Stealth desperately trying to stay on the inside of that track. He's almost inviting Hoggy past. And there we go, look. I bet Stealth said, for Christ's sake, man, overtake me. He did have to apply the brakes at one point, did Stealth, to allow Hoggy through, and that's not what Stealth wanted to do. I'm sure he's just easing off to allow Hoggy through. But anyway, job done now, and Stealth managed to hold on to P8. We've got Sid in 9th, all on his lonesome now. Everybody is very, very spread out, aren't they? We are into the last minute, so let's jump on board with Silly Shot. We've gone over the start finish line and through turn 1. We're just going to follow him around a few turns into turn 2, sweeping left-hander, and immediately you're thrown into the right-hander of turn 3, cutting as much of that corner as you possibly can, which then sets you up for the entry into turn 4, this big left-hander. And as you exit that, we are now staring at the start finish line then for the final time, I would suspect, for Silly Shot. A bit of a yellow flag then, we're not quite sure what for, so I'm going to leave Silly Shot to it because people are going to start crossing the line very shortly. So let's have a look and see who's crossing the line first. Is it going to be Pete? No, we've got a yellow flag. Oh, it's Grahamid that's pulled over. That's what we've got the yellow flag a bit. So Carlsberg finishes first in 6th. Then it's going to be the Saint in 7th with Stealth. He's going to finish in 8th. Oh, Silly Shot is already finished. Let's go back up to Silly Shot. We do like to see the leader cross the line as he follows the Saint across the line. So Silly Shot finishing first. Hoggy will come across the line in 2nd. So it's the same as races 1 and 2. Phaser finishing in 3rd. So that's your podium lineup. Rufus looks like he's going to come around to take P4. Yes, he is. He's got Pete just behind him who takes P5. So let's have a look, see where everybody else came. Carlsberg got 6th, the Saint 7th, Stealth 8th, Sid got 9th, Grahamid pulled over and will finish 10th. He just pulled over to the pits, didn't he? I think, well, I'm not quite sure why he did that, but not a great night for Grahamid, but a fantastic race nevertheless for everybody else. So that was, I believe, round 5. Join us next week. I have no idea where we are. It's always a nice surprise when we open the replay up and see where we're going. But that's the Mustang Mayhem for this week. I shall catch you all again next time around. Take care.